and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. Welcome to We Talk. It's been some time, but we are back. And I am joined, as per usual, he's making his return. It is the Professor, that is Weeds. How are you doing, mate?
I would like to say I am going to be a surprise entrant to We Talk, but I don't think we can get anyone else on, can we?
No, we can't. So you're
It's
back.
been a while. It has been a while. We've had a longer break than TNA, or is it just Impact now? I get so confused. Yeah, we've had quite a break, but we're still on the same channel. We're not going away, and we have returned. An epic return, you might say.
We have indeed, and we've moved days. So yeah, guys, you've been saying to us, when was We Talk coming back? Well, it's back, but it's now moved to Saturdays at 2 p.m. So you can come onto my YouTube channel and you can make sure you catch We Talk now at 2 p.m. And that's in the UK. So Weeds, what is that in American time?
East Coast, I believe that is around 9 a.m. So West Coast, what we're looking at, 3-4 hours each way. So about 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It will be up.
Yeah, so you can come and catch us here at the weekend. And just for next week, guys, just to let you know, we're actually going to TNA Impact at Wembley. So we're not really going to be around on Saturday, but We Talk will be up on Sunday. And that's just a one-off. And then we're back again Saturdays at 2 p.m. So, yes, a new day. A new day.
Don't start. I'm not talking about that. I am not talking about the new day. I think I covered that the last time we were on. Probably why we got taken off air.
Yes. Well, it is a new day though. Yeah. Come on. Okay, fine then. Don't then. But a lot of things to cover before we get started into the onslaught of talking points that we've got today. First of all, just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that listens to We Talk and everybody that subscribed to my YouTube channel. 30,000 subscribers now. So I can only just say thank you very much. The bigger the following, the better it gets. And hopefully there's a lot of changes coming very, very soon. And part of that was We Talk moving to Saturdays. But there's so much stuff that I've got in store for you guys. And it will be revealed very, very shortly.
No, real amazing 2-year journey from when you started this. And I can't believe how quickly it's grown. So no, congrats, man.
You're talking about my YouTube channel, yeah?
Don't start.
Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. If you haven't checked out my channel recently or kept up to date, then I have got some Royal Rumble simulations. We've actually got the Brock Lesnar versus John Cena versus Seth Rollins match, which was actually featured by WWE Games Twitter account. They actually picked it as a video of the day. So make sure you go check it out. That was a pretty good match that me and my brother played out. I think it's got a pretty good ending. And as well, we've got the actual Royal Rumble simulation between my brother. We played that one out. Cool. That was a long old one. That was, I mean, to play that out and get it right. But the best bit about it is that 90%, I'd say, 98% of the superstars have all the correct attires, bar probably Kane. Because unfortunately, Kane in WWE 2K15, you can't remove his hair. So I couldn't do much with that.
He's probably happy about that because he hasn't got a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, I unfortunately, someone pointed it out. Well, Kane's not up to date. Well, I couldn't do much with that one. But yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy those simulations. And there's a couple more coming over this weekend. And yeah, this is kind of a Royal Rumble orientated We Talk because we've got lots to talk about, haven't we, Weeds?
Well, we have. I was saying before we even get on the Rumble, they finally gave us the network.
Oh, yes.
And early.
So they did.
and early. Yeah, apparently it was meant to be the 19th, the launch over here in the UK. And it popped up about 5 days early, didn't it? And we all started subscribing. I've been impressed by what I've seen on it so far. Don't know what your thoughts are.
I think it's very, very good. It was very strange the way they did that, though, because they didn't really overly promote the release of the early part of the network. I kind of was a bit surprised because people were like, "Oh, I've got the network. I've got the network," and I was thinking, "Doesn't it come out on Monday?" But I have to say, first impressions was I thoroughly enjoy the network, and I think, to be honest, it's well worth its $9.99. There's so much content, there's so much good stuff. The last thing I watched on it was the biggest crybabies in wrestling. Basically, it wasn't just WWE. Pretty good watch. Did enjoy it.
No, I've been watching some of the AWA stuff. Obviously, I'm working my way through the Royal Rumbles at the moment. Actually, just watched the 92 one this morning, which I'm pretty sure is one of our favourites. But yeah, it's well, like you say, I think it's well worth $9.99. I will be continuing my subscription, especially now Sky Sports over here, who host the pay-per-view still on the TV, actually increased their prices. So it's a no-brainer to go with the network when on average it's half the price of what you would now be paying for a pay-per-view, and God knows how much WrestleMania is going to be on there this year. But no, mightily impressed so far.
Yeah, I didn't even think about how much WrestleMania would be. That's going to be a hefty sum. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't. I've from watching what I have of the network, I've watched a bit. I've watched some old ECW pay-per-views. Absolutely loving that. Loving the quintessential Stub Muffin Joel Gertner. I love that. But yeah, ECW, something where I've kind of missed is going and having those sort of nostalgia sort of moments. So watching ECW, watching Nitro, yeah, it's thoroughly worth it, guys. So if you do have the option and you do have that $9.99 on a monthly basis, I'd say go and pick up the network.
Yeah, not that we're getting endorsed in any way, shape or form to promote the network. We wish we were.
We're just happy that we've got it, to be honest. So
yeah, only took a little while. But what else have we missed? What else? There's been so much going on. Obviously, since we were last on air, the match at the Royal Rumble's changed, which we're going to come on to later, I suppose. And we got our first Hall of Fame inductee.
Ooh, yeah!
Oh, I knew you couldn't resist. I kind of set that up for myself, didn't I?
Yeah, that's me done now for the whole list talk.
Drink.
Yeah, I probably need to. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, awesome. Long time coming. I did a review on his DVD and Blu-ray, and yeah, they do talk about in detail reasons for the Macho Man, Hall of Fame and stuff. And I just thought, at last, when they announced it, Austin on the podcast, quizzed Vince over it. Vince said yes, but was a bit. Got a video as well talking about the Macho Man's induction. Check that out. Leave it in the link in the description below. But
I do love how you say his name. You've got a touch of the Lord Alfred Hayes about it.
Macho Man.
Macho. I'm macho.
You go macho, do you?
You've gone Lord Alfred Hayes. So for any long time WWE/WWF fans, you will know exactly who Lord Alfred Hayes is.
Coliseum Video. Remember that?
Obviously, Delzinski, his illegitimate love child, and the Macho Man is going to live on in infamy on this channel.
Yeah, it's a good thing. A little bit in agreement with a lot of people at the moment, saying that I'm not really sure why Hulk Hogan's been the pick to induct him when it should surely be Lanny Poffo. Should be his family that are inducting him.
Well, there's been quite a lot of talk from Hogan, hasn't there? Because he's been on a couple of podcasts.
You can't stop Hulkamania from talking. You can't.
He was on Jericho's, and I think he said that he basically intimated that him and Macho had made up before this, and then that was kind of disputed a little bit by DDP on Austin's one. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd choice of inductee, particularly with the amount of history and heat that they apparently did have. Really happy that he's in there. I know there's been quite a lot of people like bitching and moaning that why is it taking this long? Whatever reason, I don't really care how long it's taken. For me, it's more important because it makes it a far more legitimate Hall of Fame now that he's going to be in it.
Yeah. Do you? The only thing I'd say on this is do you think that WWE sort of respect his wishes of having the whole family go in? Because that was something that I think he really did want.
I suppose the only other thing is, one point, it's their Hall of Fame, so they can put in who they want. And you've always got the option that I suppose the family could reject it if they don't want him to be in there, but you can't really, you don't want to be the first one to reject it, because then you know nothing was repaired, and you hope for all of the things that these wrestlers put themselves through, it's not worth, after this guy's gone, to go through any angst for the sake of creating angst. I would just go in there, and hopefully they will get the family a bit more involved, and I suppose that's what every wrestling fan wants, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, about that. If they didn't want Hulk Hogan to induct him, I think they could just simply say no, and that doesn't appear to have happened. So, I mean, behind the scenes, everything must be good for this to be going ahead. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I can't wait. Be interesting to see what Hogan says in the speech. I think we've probably heard 90% of the stories already because he's been telling them. But yeah, either way, it's great to know that a legend is going into the Hall of Fame, and like you say, it's well overdue.
And well, put it this way, Hogan's not going to go on as long as Lita did. So,
oh yeah,
or Mr. T and his mum.
Oh, that is the best. That's still one of the most ridiculous Hall of Fame speeches of all time. But yeah.
Oh, but don't you get me?
My mother. I like to talk. My mother. That's all it was. The whole thing.
Well, I was going to say, not that we're going to cover Raw, obviously, before the Rumble, but I couldn't get over the amount of times that Lesnar kept referring to people as baby this week. It was quite disconcerting, worrying. Baby. Seth Rollins, baby. Hulkamania, baby. I was like, oh my God, he's had a few drinks before he's come out. He's all loved up.
He's got to be loved up with Hogan, because Hogan still wants that match, that one last match with Lesnar. I think Lesnar would snap him in half if he F5s him.
I think literally it'd be one knee drop and like every bone in Hogan's body would like just crumble.
I would love to see though him take an F5, because I think in the back of Hogan's mind, he thinks he could take one.
Brother,
I do, brother.
Well, I was going to say the impact, and there's actually been quite a lot of people saying Lesnar looks after people quite well in the ring, but really? Isn't that pretty much the last time we saw Vince McMahon do anything involved in any kind of wrestling angle? And he literally snapped his hip in half.
We were waiting to bring in the Triple H regime from that point onwards, but he's back. Vince is back.
We can't talk about, if we're going to talk about Triple H, we've obviously got to bring up the fact that he's making little kids cry.
He's not. He's making them happy. He came out of character, and he even went and cheered up a little kid in the crowd. I thought it was pretty nice moment from the game.
I thought it was brilliant. The more you read into the story, that apparently this kid had just been laying into Triple H the whole way through Raw, and just and had absolutely just been on his back. And I can't even remember what Triple H said to him, but it was literally like, "This is why I'm the guy in power," or whatever it is. And the kid just burst into tears because obviously Triple H had spoken to him, given like this one sentence dressing down. I know exactly what it's like, obviously having a son that a year below that kid's age. But I thought it was great, and I think it's great PR for the WWE that he went over there, ruffled his head, whispered in his ear that it's they're going to make a comeback or whatever it's going to be, and then took them backstage for 20 minutes, him and his dad. And I think that's great publicity for the WWE. They don't miss a trick, do they?
I never got taken backstage when Christopher Daniels had a go at me.
No, well, you were too busy sobbing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been a busy time. We've obviously seen the return of Sting. Impact Wrestling's gone through a massive change as well. Shed loads has gone down since the last we talk. Sting's back. I still need to really look.
Dressed like M. Bison from Street Fighter 2.
He's gone with the red though. That's interesting. That is interesting. That's almost I don't know, that kind of surprises me. I thought they were going to stick with the black and the white.
What you mean they're not going to miss a chance to sell a different coloured shirt?
Yeah,
surely not.
good point. But yeah, it just leads to more suspense going into the Royal Rumble event itself this weekend, this Sunday. So, I mean, speaking of the Royal Rumble, let's talk it, and let's say, who do you think, or who's your pick to be the 2015 winner of the Royal Rumble?
Well, it seems that the WWE has been on a course for it to be Roman Reigns for quite a while. I would argue that this is maybe changing. And I'm looking, I think a certain Mr. Bryan has had perfect time in coming back. Obviously, he's had more than a week build up that Batista got last year. And I think there's a story, maybe if you are going to keep the championship on Lesnar, that is to be had with Bryan obviously moving towards that feud that everyone thought we were going to have. So it's one of those rumbles, isn't it? Because there is potentially quite a lot of people. There's no clear cut, but I would have to say I'm siding with Daniel Bryan at the moment, and probably seeing if they can recreate lightning in a bottle like they did last year and have that kind of the yes movement again. So I think it will probably, for me, be Daniel Bryan. But if the championship match is earlier and you know Seth hasn't won and then he's cashed in and hasn't won, I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins turns up in the Royal Rumble as well.
Yes, good point. I'd like it to be a Bryan victory, because I'd like to see Rollins versus Bryan at WrestleMania. I think they could just tear the house down, really. I think that would be one of the best main events, and it would actually be the first time in a long time that we've had a proper wrestling main event. I mean, you're going to get your money's worth. It's not going to be, all about constant back and forth finishes. Like, that's not how that sort of match would go. That match would be a proper wrestling match between two awesome wrestlers, and it paves the way for the future of the WWE if they go down that route. And I would say that Roman Reigns could do the same, but I don't think Roman Reigns is ready to put on a show quite like Seth Rollins and already a ready Daniel Bryan. Regardless or not if he's injured or not, I think he's already proved that he can come back and tear it down. So put him on the biggest stage, get him up against Rollins, and I think we are quids in for an awesome WrestleMania.
No, and definitely. I mean, I think we spoke when we were last doing these about trying maybe that was the future, and we got a little glimpse of it maybe before. And no, I think it would be great to have Bryan and Rollins, especially if you get some kind of authority angle in there again, and like a couple of weeks before, suddenly Vince McMahon is going to be in Bryan's corner, and then suddenly you've got this, who's going to screw who? Is Vince really, on Bryan's side, all that kind of stuff. It would definitely work for me.
The only thing I'm thinking as well as an outsider would be someone like a Dolph Ziggler.
Well, he's taken that kind of back step again, wouldn't you say? Since he did all that work at the Survivor Series, he's kind of disappeared. He's won one week and then he's being crushed the next week. Was it another false dawn, I suppose, for Dolph Ziggler?
Probably, but he has that potential again. Another guy that could have an amazing match with Seth Rollins. We've seen what they could do. We've seen what they did at the Survivor Series. I mean, it's there and it works. And I actually thought that was probably a route they could have gone down until the return of Bryan. So maybe Bryan coming back has almost edged Ziggler back out the way. It's very frustrating, really, because like you said, Ziggler gets moved forward and then he just takes those steps back again. So kind of, I don't know. I think if they wanted to get the shock value, then Ziggler would be the one, and if it really would shock everybody, because I think everybody's expecting either a Reigns or a Bryan victory out of this Royal Rumble, unless, like you say, somehow Seth kind of gets in there. But we'll talk about
there are other people in there, a hell of a lot.
Who else would you pick out then? I don't think so.
You got Bray Wyatt. Again, it just depends, because this is what's so good about the Rumble, is that you literally don't know. You get a fair assumption of who you think will be in that kind of final four, but you just don't know. And like you're saying, you got Bray, you've got Wade Barrett, who's back and moving back up the card again. You've got what was I going to say? I hate when I go blank. But yeah, you got Ziggler underneath. You've got still deciding what they're doing with Rusev. Still hasn't lost, and
no way.
Well, he hasn't lost.
Way. No one wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
Is he going to be the guy that kind of challenges that Kane and Roman Reigns most eliminations? I'm expecting quite a big impact from Rusev in this Rumble.
Interesting point on him is I was listening to JR's podcast, and he was talking about the Rusev character, and he was saying that, well, is Rusev really a proper heel? And what he means by that was, well, Rusev doesn't really cheat, does he? He doesn't really cheat.
No one does.
He doesn't really run away. He doesn't really do any sort of crybaby tactics. The reason why everyone hates him is the pure basis that apparently he's Russian. That is the only reason why people dislike Rusev. I mean, yeah, there's other reasons, but that is the main reason why people don't like Rusev. There's not actually a reason to hate him otherwise. Like, it's like, you have people that cheat constantly on a week-by-week basis and used to think, oh, not again, you've done it again. And then you had people that would just be a crybaby, be like, oh, you really get on my nerves the way you act week on week. But with Rusev, it's not. He stands his ground most of the time.
He doesn't backpedal very much, does he?
No, he's willing to take on the challenges. I still think he's got a bit of a Reigns issue, that his moveset is limited, and that's what makes him kind of boring.
Do you kind of see those two maybe finding each other in this match?
Could be good. I think that'd be a really nice moment. Let's say we get mid-Rumble and Reigns has cleared. I would say that good move would be having Reigns maybe clear house, and then you get Rusev come out. I mean, the standoff between those two would work very nicely, I think.
I'd do it the other way around.
You would have Reigns come out and Rusev clear house.
Well, I think Reigns is going to come through the crowd, and that will be again quite unique for the Rumble. But yeah, I think the pop chance that you get through, if he's just say Rusev's just got rid of a. Yeah, if he's got rid of a Ziggler and the crowd are all over him, because it's Philadelphia, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great. And say you've got maybe a couple of ECW alumni in there as well, and he's literally, Rusev just got rid of them. Can you imagine the kind of sound that crowd's going to make for Roman Reigns if he's going to be the guy to come and get rid of Rusev? It might work. That's kind of how I see it working.
I think that would work very well, actually. I'd like to see that happen. I think now you flipped it on its head a little bit more. It works, probably sways better towards Roman Reigns coming in and actually taking him out at that point. I just would love to see that stare down, that confrontation bit. We've seen that before in Rumbles where it's been like, okay, here we go. And then they, the crowd usually erupts at that point when it all kicks off. So yeah, that's a good spot. WWE should take note.
We'll post it to them. In fact, I'm actually secretly booking for them. That's why the program goes a bit hit and miss.
Oh, that's the Divas bit then, yeah?
No. So I've gone. I think I've gone Daniel Bryan.
I'm definitely my pick, and this is actually a great thing to ask all of you guys out there. Comments box below. Let us know your pick for the 2015 Royal Rumble. And what we'll do is Royal Rumble night, I'll have a look at all of those comments and we'll see who got it right. And if you did get it right, as long as I remember, we'll probably read out those people that got it right on the show. So I think that'd be a good way to see your predictions. So I'm going Daniel Bryan. Weeds is going Daniel Bryan. But who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Who's your pick? One more question.
It might be Triple H.
One more question on that note. When do you think Daniel Bryan's coming in? I'm going to say number one.
We can't be in total agreement about everything. It'll be number one or number two. Maybe who, because it seems to be that they're setting everything up against him again. So yeah, I think it will be early. If he does go in number 1 or number 2, who do you want him in there with?
Bray Wyatt.
Well, I was going to say that's not a bad pick actually, because we are right back where we were a year ago. Yeah,
I kind of would like someone who's going to test him to start things off. I got a feeling it could. You know what's really funny? Go check out my my Royal Rumble simulation. I'm not just telling you all of this because certain things happen there. But Kane would be a likely scenario, wouldn't he?
Oh yes, he would. I was just thinking about potential ones and twos. Actually, I'm talking about the Rumble before you start being disgusting. Do you remember the Rumble? I think it started off with both members of Demolition.
Oh yeah.
Again. So maybe that's something they could do down the line with Rowan and Harper. I know they're not a tag team anymore, but it's a good way to make both of them relevant again. I suppose.
Is Rowan in the Rumble? Because somebody said he's not.
Oh, if he's not, then we'll throw that idea out the window, and I'll go back to booking the main event.
I thought he was. So yeah, but a couple of people have said he's not.
They haven't announced everyone, have they? Because we always get the surprises on the Royal Rumble as well, don't you?
We do. But they have been leaking a lot of how the participants this year. There's not a lot of room for special guests. I think we all know that possibly DDP is the one.
Well, that would be good, especially. I mean, with surprise entrants. I mean, DDP, no matter how much he's got going on outside, I mean, the man's making millions now, isn't he, with his yoga program, which works, by the way. I've tried it. Yeah, he would be good. He doesn't need. For me, he doesn't need to be in it. To be honest,
are you going to be in it?
I don't want to give those guys that much competition.
Is that why you've been doing the DDP yoga? Get in shape for the Rumble and deck style.
No.
Oh, fine.
You've been just being spiteful.
Well, we're back.
Other surprises. There's been talk about the Dudleys.
I would. Do you know? I'm very critical of Bubba Ray, Bully Ray. Yes, I am. I can't help it. But I'm very critical of him. But I would like to see it. I would just want to see a 3D in the Royal Rumble. Don't you? Don't you just want to hear it? Don't you just want to hear the crowd go 3D, bang, nails it, and then they get both thrown out? But yeah, just want to see it happen.
A good again, I suppose. If you can do something with the Ascension, I know they're fighting the Old Age Outlaws.
I think they're gonna. I do think that the Dudleys will be at the Rumble, but I think it's going to be evolved around that scenario, not so much the Royal Rumble match itself.
One potential, I suppose, for surprise entrance, considering he's rocked up on Raw.
The Portuguese Man of War? Aldo Montoya?
You got me. Just incredible. No, not
right.
the Portuguese Man of War. Does Sting do anything in this match?
He's not going to be in the Royal Rumble, man.
But does he get involved in this match? If he's not in it, does he get involved in it?
No, because he's going to get involved in the main event, I would say. I'm a bit worried that could turn into a bit of a cluster. I know I'm not going to go into the main event because we are going to talk about that, but a bit worried about all the scenarios. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot going on.
That's good. We like choice. This is what. Could you imagine if this was just Cena and Lesnar again?
Yeah. It's much better than that.
I'm sure we'll come on to that.
I don't think so. I don't think why would he need to play a part in a Royal Rumble?
Well, I don't know. Just it depends, I suppose, who the final four are, really. But like you say, probably more likely he's going to turn up in the title match. But again,
maybe that's what we're leading to: a Sting main event at WrestleMania, picks up the belt.
I don't know.
I think I was being way too optimistic with that one. I don't think Sting is going to be involved in the Royal Rumble, and if he is involved in the Royal Rumble, I would be shocked.
So, any more ECW guys, maybe?
Who would I like to see? Is this who I expect, or who I'd like?
I suppose both. Who you expect and who you'd like to see?
Paul Heyman, the Walrus. I'd love to see him just get involved. And then go on to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
the reigning undisputed and probably kicked in the head again by Seth Rollins. I suppose there's been rumours about RVD.
I think RVD's a very, very good option. He's always ready. He's always good to go. He's always worth the value. RVD would be worth it.
And suppose going outside of that, are we going to see Randall Keith Orton turn up?
Yeah, see, I mean, this is what's happening, isn't it? There's lots of people that are getting lost in the insane amount of talk around Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton, I didn't even think about Orton. You know,
No.
is he? Because that in itself would be epic. The amount of RKO's he could hit in this Royal Rumble.
It could match your video.
I would freaking love that. RKO out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere. I mean, that's that opens a whole new door, or a whole new day, to have Randy Orton get involved.
Stop it.
I don't think he'll win it, but I think he could be in it.
Are you speaking in rhyme all the frigging time?
Gangster.
No, but that's the problem, is because he's been away just as he was getting quite hot again. I suppose the only one you really want to see him involved with is Seth, because of the way it got left. And but yeah, if he's coming in, maybe that does, Seth does worm his way. And I suppose that's one question to ask. Does the Rumble match always goes on last, doesn't it?
It should.
I mean, they have flipped it once or twice, but it has to go on last.
I'm a bit worried about that now you say that, though, because if Orton, because if you think Orton's probably been paired with Rollins for WrestleMania.
Well, you'd think so. But then we've just paired him with Bryan, so maybe we're having a fatal 4-way or something at WrestleMania. But this is why it's got good again, because we don't know. It was we felt like we were having this monotonous slog of Roman Reigns being shoved down our throat until it was the inevitable thing that he was going to face Lesnar at WrestleMania, and it doesn't feel like that's where we're going at the moment. I'll probably be wrong by Monday morning, but it doesn't feel. It feels like you say, there's any number of things that could potentially come, and that's why I suppose we love the Royal Rumble so much.
Well, it's interesting now, because I know we're going to talk about the main event, but if that is the case, then that would definitely lead for a Rollins cash-in. So Rollins would go on to face Orton. I would say that it would be Bryan versus Lesnar in the main event. Still a pretty good main event, I would have to say, because the underdog story would then continue in terms that he's got to topple the beast that has done everything in the WWE so far, and then Bryan goes over at WrestleMania. I'm planning it all out. Bryan goes over and beats the beast, and then everybody's on a massive high. And WWE love to do this. When they are on a massive high, they're going to bring you back down.
The Power Ranger's going to come out.
Well, no, it is going to be a cash-in at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, and possibly Rollins losing to Randy Orton earlier in the night, but getting that redeeming factor. And we will end WrestleMania with Seth Rollins as WWE champion.
I mean, then that's what's great, is that there are so many possibilities that are coming out of this now, and all they had to do was put Seth Rollins in that main event, and suddenly everything is open. And that's what makes it good, and it's good that Bryan's coming back, it's good that Orton's coming back, and you're getting some kind of an interesting roster and potential dynamic that's going to happen, because you don't know, I suppose, what's going to happen. I suppose more entrance-wise, do you see any of the NXT roster being involved?
Kevin Steen, or it's not Kevin Steen, is it? It's
Owens.
Kevin Owens, yes. I think he will be involved, and Sami Zayn could possibly be in there. I could see that. Maybe an interesting scenario is that Owens doesn't really care for the Royal Rumble itself. He just wants to ruin, Sami Zayn's night, and maybe just comes out and takes out a Sami Zayn sort of scenario. Adrian Neville, obviously, obvious one.
Well, it would be good. I was thinking, if you were going to book it, is I'd have one of the NXT guys maybe in the Final Four, and then do exactly what you've just said.
because Owens is just there to spoil the party. Really, to be honest, I don't really see him. If he was, he doesn't even have to be in the Rumble. To be honest, he just has to ruin it for another NXT guy. To be honest.
Yeah, I think maybe the good one is Sami Zayn, because then obviously you're building for another event, and it's another way to expose NXT, which is never going to be a bad thing. And obviously we'd like the content of the main show to be more like that, and maybe that is finally what we're getting.
Definitely.
And this is what's good. There's so many things that can happen. It will probably be the most boring in history.
Have you noticed though? This whole conversation, and not one single mention of yeah. Not one single mention of that because it's not necessary. And yes,
it's obviously going to be champion by the end of the weekend.
Well, if that happens, I really think that they are just kidding themselves at the moment. If they're going to go down that route, I mean, I don't really mind Cena at the moment. I've kind of
because he's not involved in anything.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, his segments have been a lot drawn out with Raw when he seems to, when his segments are quite hot, and then he comes out and he just takes complete and utter control of those segments, and the novelty just wears off, and it's like, oh, it's just another, Cena can do it sort of scenario. And look, we were not gonna do this We Talk without me covering a point that has hacked me off for weeks. Listen, right?
I don't think I have a choice by the sounds of it.
How long has John Cena been a professional wrestler for?
So what? It's like 2002, wasn't it? 2001, 2002 is coming through. So what? 13 years.
Yeah, 13 years, and he does
in the WWE anyway.
And how many German suplexes did he get hit with by Brock Lesnar?
I thought he sold them beautifully.
Well, it's debatable. Well, he got hit with a lot. Yeah, 16. Yeah. Yeah,
well, it depends who was counting.
16. He got hit with 16. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on Raw, when it was the segment, I think it was the contract signing, he takes a German suplex. Yes?
He did.
He doesn't sell it at all. And the art of selling for somebody that is a pro and that has been a veteran of the ring, if someone doesn't know how to take a German suplex and just actively sell it like it hurt, what he did was he took the suplex and he bounced straight back up. And I know he had to do it because of timing, because he had to get out the way of Seth coming down from his suplex. But the art of selling, when somebody of his caliber and his level doesn't do that right, what does that say for the whole locker room? We talk about reaching up and grabbing that brass ring, yeah? But a guy like John Cena should be doing those things right. They are the basics of wrestling. And if he can't do that still, and that WWE still keep on going back to this guy, and I personally think guys like Seth Rollins sell a lot better than John Cena. I don't like the way Cena sells the curb stomp as well, to be honest. I don't like that either. He kind of jumps. I think Lesnar sells it better. But the art of selling needs to be revisited for some of these older guys because, like I say, Cena's not doing it right. What does that say to the rest of the locker room? Because the rest of the locker room should be looking up to a Cena to do it properly.
I completely agree that the art of selling is very important. I think the one particular incident you're talking about, I think, is maybe slightly out of context.
Really?
In the sense that Cena, one, like you said, needed to be out of the way because even though I think he put a little bit extra on Seth's because he literally nearly bounced him on top of his head, didn't he? But he was required to get up and do that table spot to put Lesnar through that table. So obviously after he's done that, it was the way they like to do it, where they have the ping, ping, ping things happening like literally one after another. So I think having just wrestled, or whatever he'd just done, I don't know. I think he was needed to get up so he could do that spot with Lesnar and then take the curb stomp and then have Lesnar take the curb stomp. And WWE like to throw those things in. Not that I'm going to sit here and defend Cena, because at times I'm a big fan of Cena, but at times there are things he can do better. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's the best at selling in the world, because he's certainly not. But equally, he's required to do certain stuff that they want to get in. And I think that was one of those times. Yeah,
but he did revert to Superman in that in that period. He did something, and all I'm pointing out here is that he should know better. And all I'm asking of someone like him is to, when you get up, it wasn't so much that he just bounced straight back up. The way he got up, you know, I know it had to be quick, but would it have hurt for him to have shown a bit of that hurt? Or hand on the back that hurt, and then do the move. It felt like to me that it was irrelevant that he'd just been hit with that German suplex, and he was just, you know, I'm up, here you go, attitude adjustment, game over, and I am Superman.
Yeah, I would put, for me, I would put that on the WWE more than Cena, because they was like boom boom boom, we're off air, and it was literally that quick. That you had Seth just standing in the ring over the both of them, and it was off air and gone. And I think if you say, well, we're not going to chat as much shit as we do in the build up to whatever the signing was, then you could have Cena maybe stay down for a second. But the important thing with that is that it was Cena, and I think Cena and Rollins started the scrap first, didn't they? And equally, you've got, I suppose the history of it is that Cena has taken 16 of these things and got up still.
He just bounced back up. It's fine. But I'm immune to German suplexes.
No, I think for me it comes more down to the timing at the end of that show. And if they'd given it a couple more minutes of time, yeah, you could have had Cena stay down a little bit longer. But I think because they wanted to do the table spot, Cena had very little choice than he needed to pop straight back up, more or less.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, we can't go a wee talk without me having some sort of criticism towards John Cena. But
I will staunchly defend him. You can tell I'm a Patriots fan as well, because obviously I've got to defend all sorts of things this week. But we're not going to talk about that in this podcast.
All I'm putting out there is that the art of selling, and this is probably for another wee talk, but the art of selling really now needs to be thought about with the wrestling industry. Austin bangs on about it on his podcast. JR bangs on about it on his podcast. If you wanna go and watch the art of selling, go watch something like Wrestle Kingdom 9 from New Japan Pro Wrestling. That is the art of selling.
But it's ridiculous, and again, I know we're talking about selling now. I've gone off topic slightly, and you were talking about heel tactics, and I think they've covered it again. Is that you can't really cheat in the WWE, can you?
No, it's not accepted to cheat. So, like, Cesaro was a fantastic example of this, where Austin was saying, you know, you want to come across as a bad guy, then why don't you go and do the mule kick, be a cheap shot. And Cesaro's gone out and said, well, I can't do that.
Well, you can't. I suppose the WWE, they must have been sued by so many parents of, you just got all these 8-year-old boys going around school just kicking each other in the nuts.
Yeah, but that's the thing, innit? If this goes back to that whole podcast with Vince. If you can't do these things, then your heels are restricted. And how do you establish a heel? He can't cheat. I mean, Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, steal.
I think that's the overly PC world that we currently live in. And how much it has changed in 10, 15 years of when we were watching this before. Can you imagine? Remember WCW back in the old days, like 91, 92, WWF? You had, it was chair shots, lift weights, they were using the ring bell. It was everything. Any way you could cheat was used.
But that's fantastic. This is the best point I could probably say on We Talk this week. How come you cannot do a mule kick, but you can do a curb stomp on a breeze block?
Because I can only assume the WWE's thinking behind this is that, you tell you what, a breeze block, they're not too accessible, are they?
That's not a mule kick's much more dangerous, to be honest.
You're gonna prevent. You can just, if you can see Vince going, oh, they're not gonna have breeze blocks at school, but you kick up that boy in the nuts. Think of the children. Think of the babies that aren't going to be born because of Cesaro kicking someone in the balls.
Is that Triple H?
No, that's like a mix. That's my Vince. That's my Vince. I've got laryngitis. Not well.
That was great. No, but that's the point. That is the point. It's so, like you say, in this PC, and it's being all of these sort of things, and the PG era as well. But I mean, yeah, they're just not consistent with it. I mean, that's my point. My point is proven in that whole example of, a mule kick's not acceptable, but a curb stomp through a breeze block is.
I was going to say, any new We Talk listeners, Delzinski and I, Professor Weeds, do have a tendency to go off track every now and a while. And I suppose we've got to think of a name for these. So I'm going to call it the We Talk Rants.
The We Talk Rants. Well, you'd love that, because I'm sure you've got them lined up and ready to go and knock them out of the park.
I'm being well behaved today.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's part of my new contract you made me sign for coming on here.
Oh, yes.
No money, work for beer, of which I have to at least buy one round.
No money, no problems. So yeah, I mean, we went off topic. We've been talking about the Royal Rumble quite a lot, so I think it's probably best moment now is to just actually talk about that main event in a little bit more detail. So, who's your pick?
No, I'm only joking.
Oh my god!
I think it is going to be Lesnar.
You still think? Well, it would. I would say that would be the scenario that makes sense.
Let me lay out how I see it going.
Fire away.
We have been teased the last few weeks that we are getting some kind of potential babyface turn from Lesnar. He's moving more. He's not taking the advice of Heyman as much. He's saying, "I want to fight. I want to kick Seth Rollins' ass, baby." He's coming, and I think that's probably one more thing, because we're still hearing the rumors that he's going to go after Mania. So maybe one last little babyface turn or tweener kind of status, but we're stealing that from Randy Orton maybe at the moment. And what I would like to see is that you've got the potential of an agreement coming between Rollins and Heyman, and it's being teased, and you've had the handshake and all those other kind of things happening in the last few weeks. The only twist I would make, because it's kind of like what he did when he sided with the Big Show, I think, at one of the Survivor Series and turned on Lesnar, is that I'd like him to turn on Lesnar but be unsuccessful. And then be aligned, and then maybe have Heyman aligned. It looks like he's going to be aligned with Rollins, and Rollins potentially saying, why do I need you? You didn't help me. You didn't get me the championship. But take that kind of Heyman bit away from Lesnar. Now, obviously, the problem with taking Heyman away from Lesnar is that you would then require Lesnar to talk, baby. So maybe, and then the other option maybe is you've got what happened between CM Punk and Heyman when they were kind of coming away from each other, and maybe that's something you could do with Lesnar. But what I would like to see is that potential. You're not sure where Heyman's support is actually going to lie, but Lesnar comes out on top, and to cover his ass, he kind of, they work in a scenario where Heyman still aligns himself with Lesnar, but that relationship's kind of then tainted again. So
if Lesnar comes out as champ, who would he be facing at WrestleMania?
Daniel Bryan.
As a face?
Well, I think it's more important that match happens, because that's what we were expecting and wanted to see at SummerSlam, and I think it's a great way to put Bryan back on top again.
See, I agree. I kind of think that Lesnar could go over. It would make 100% sense to have Lesnar win this match, because, like I say, everything that he's done to then lose the belt at the Royal Rumble and not reach WrestleMania just kind of tarnishes, or just kind of makes it pointless.
Well, he would only have defended the belt once.
Yeah, so, I mean, he has to, in a way, get to the final moment, which is WrestleMania, and then drop the belt. Because
otherwise, like you say, it makes the whole thing pointless. It makes the streak pointless. It makes him squashing CM Punk and going over Triple H at some point. Not that I'm going to go into the finer details, but he's gone over a lot of guys, you know.
Yeah, and as I say, it would just devalue all of that. And if he does go over, I think I do like your scenario, but I think that if he's going to face Bryan, he's still got to be a proper heel. So if
I don't mind not having a heel and a baby face, a bit like when Austin fought Rock, I suppose, at 17, is that you're not quite sure where anyone is, but you know where Bryan is, but you're not quite sure where Lesnar is. And I think that's potentially a story. The story would be, I suppose, from Lesnar's side, Heyman and himself and how that relationship's kind of changing, and then Bryan's story is it's the road to redemption, isn't it? So that's maybe something I could see happening.
So then, if that happens, does Rollins cash in on the night?
I think this could be the night where he literally tries everything. We're going to get him in that match. We're getting, I would think, going quite close. If he doesn't win it, he'll then probably cash in straight away. I would like to see him actually be unsuccessful and then enter himself in the Rumble. And then be unsuccessful again at that. And then
don't you just love the Seth Rollins character? I think that he's becoming. I mean, I'm just becoming a massive fan of the whole package that Rollins is becoming. Like,
it's great.
I think he talks the talk. Apart from when he botched his promo on Raw, which Cena kindly picked up on. Of course, thanks, mate. But yeah, I think I like the package that he's becoming. I think he's becoming a proper heel, and he does do the cowardly stuff, but just not as over as it could be done. But he happily runs away. He hides behind J&J security, but he also steps up when he needs to, like he did at the contract signing, where he was like, I'm just gonna kick your ass. I like that about him. Everything works with him, and I think I definitely think if he's going to pick up the belt, I would like to see him pick it up at WrestleMania on the big night, and I still would like it done in that scenario where he cashes in at WrestleMania.
No, I'm everything you just said, I completely agree with Rollins, and I know I've kind of pointed towards 2 matches at Mania that could potentially happen, and I suppose that's the good thing. I wouldn't be disappointed with either one of them.
No.
And no, for me, I think we said on the last We Talk before we took our break, and we kind of did what we thought had been good years for people, and I think we both had Seth Rollins. For me, should have been Superstar of the Year.
Yeah, he's had a great year. He's the one. Ambrose has a bit. I mean, we haven't even talked about Ambrose, but Rollins has excelled this over the past year, and I just think he's going to go from strength to strength with him. He was the surprise package, you'd have to say, from the Shield, because we all knew he had the ability in the ring, but I think everyone was a little bit, can he talk the talk? And he clearly could. It was just WWE picked that up. Fair play to them.
I think his love for the authority, and then, like you say, from going from complete coward to he will actually stand up and have a go at Lesnar, ridicule Lesnar, Cena, and the matches he's had with Cena have been great. I thought I've seen a bit too much of it recently, particularly with the spin from the ropes move and all that kind of stuff, and the land on your feet from the attitude adjustment, that it would have been nice to be toned down and ever so slightly. But no, I think he's been absolutely fantastic.
It is that relationship with the authority, which is great. It's almost
and the
like
Stooges as well.
Yeah, it's almost like he's like a little boy sometimes. Like he's so annoyed, He's just got all this frustration that John Cena took his authority away, and he needs to bring him back. It is that whole scenario with him that I really like. He's just he's
an 8-year-old kid stamping his feet and going, "Bring them back!
Yeah,
bring them back!" He's
so determined that he wanted to bring them back, and he was willing to do anything to get it done. And that's what I like about him. And like you say, that leads very nicely into a scenario at the Royal Rumble where he will do absolutely anything, and it does feel like that. He kind of comes across very desperate at times to want to make sure that he excels, and it doesn't always pay off for him.
So I was going to say, at the end of this, we've obviously picked what we'd like to see at Mania. It's more than likely going to be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I would say, for my prediction for the winner of this match, I'm going to go with Oh, it's a difficult one. It really is. I probably what I'd like Rollins to win the belt, and go to WrestleMania as champion. That defies my scenario that I said where he cashes in at WrestleMania. I know, but I really want him to be champion now. I don't know what it is. It's just I've got to that.
It's the
stage.
final piece. It's the final piece,
Yeah.
like Brian.
And it would be kind of awesome. I mean, he's going to have to cash in, isn't he? He's going to have to drop the briefcase to become a champion. Or imagine if he didn't.
I was going to say another scenario you've got is that he does win and he does do absolutely everything to win it, and he ends up cashing in. He gets Heyman to turn. How about you get Lesnar turns up on Raw the next night? No one's expecting him to fight. Rematch straight away on Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Lesnar takes it straight back off him.
Oh, that would be devastating. Oh, that would be a shocker.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what's great is that I think we potentially know Lesnar, whether or not he's going to be champion, is going to be on the following Raw on the night after, and it just opens up so many scenarios. And the way WWE have been going is that they've got this great opportunity to come away from the monotonous, boring booking. And I just, I hold my hands up and say, putting Rollins in this match is probably one of the best things they've done in such a while, because it gives you so many scenarios and you just don't know.
Yeah, it's changed the dimension completely and the dynamics of it as well. It's just
definitely.
The only thing I'm going to say as well is we do have a pay-per-view in between, don't we, WrestleMania?
Is it Fast Track or whatever it is? Because no one can hang in an elimination chamber anymore, can they?
Yeah, so I mean, something's going to have to happen in between that point as well. So,
and is Taker going to turn up at some point?
Nah, I don't see it now. Don't see it.
Is he done?
I only see the reason for Taker to turn up, even to rock up at the Royal Rumble, if he's going to do something to Lesnar. I don't really want to see him do anything with Bray, and just my reason, because it doesn't make any sense. You're going to come back for no reason. You come back to avenge your loss at WrestleMania. You don't come back to face someone else just for the sake of facing them. So Ivory comes back and he's going against Lesnar. Yes, it wasn't the greatest match, but for storyline purposes, it makes sense.
Well, and of course, the only person we haven't talked about being in the Royal Rumble is CM Punk. I joke.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing these days. He's just training UFC.
As long as he's happy, I suppose.
As long as Colt Cabana's not happy, but he is, yeah.
So where do we both got Brian as the Rumble winner, and I've got Lesnar, and who did you fall down on?
I really didn't. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with who I want to win. So I'm gonna go with Rollins. Yeah.
Oh, I'm used to the WWE not giving me what I want. So.
And Sting's gonna play a part in that somehow as well, but we'll let that unfold as it will.
So yeah, I was going to say quickly. I suppose we've covered the Rumble and the title match in quite a lot of detail. It seems to be there's just tag matches, more or less, for the rest of it.
It's a pretty lame card otherwise, isn't it?
It's going to be one of those, just tune in about, an hour and 20 minutes in?
Yeah, I mean, it should be... I don't know what order we want to cover these off at, but
I think we'll just quickly do some picks.
Yeah, I was going to say the one on that list is I would say that the New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension should be an exciting match. It should be something I'm looking forward to, but I don't look forward to it because they've destroyed the Ascension. So they've spoilt that for themselves.
Well, the only way to redeem it is they've literally got to squash them in about 2 minutes and then beat the crap out of them.
I think that would be, if we're going to see the return of the Dudley Boys, it will be then. They will try and humiliate the New Age Outlaws.
And then you get the doo.
Yeah, and you would see it. But then that's another burial to the Ascension, because okay, fine, they beat the Outlaws, but then
you don't want any contact. You want the Dudley Boys coming in, getting the huge pop, and the Ascension not getting any kind of interest. Literally, they just slide out of the ring.
Oh, so you want tables, ladders, and stairs?
Yeah, well, you've got I suppose
not stairs. Stairs, yeah.
To put any kind of kind of, to make the Ascension as relevant as they are the tag team, is you've got to give them those belts as quickly as possible.
It's been a hard old struggle for the Ascension. I mean, it's like the WWE are against them. It's very worrying time for anybody that's going up from NXT. If you watch this scenario, Adrian Neville,
like just praying they're going, please don't send me, please don't send me.
Adrian Neville's just got to watch his back, because this is not what we wanted for people like the Ascension. This is just constant burial from JBL.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Oh, JBL, I hate him. I was just like, please, just when you hit your clothesline from hell, please just like fall down or something. Just any.
Maybe that's what they're building to.
So much.
Maybe that's what they're building to. At some point, the Ascension are going to go grab him from the commentary box and do the damage to him.
Well, they have to. They can't let that go.
Because this is ridiculous. Because I know we're only going to touch on this shortly, but the amount of abuse he's been told to say, because apparently he's being fed these lines, the amount of abuse that he's giving them. I mean, keeps complaining that they're fighting jobbers and all that sort of shizzle. I mean, that
I just thrown him the blue meanie.
Oh, I love the blue meanie. The blue guy. But I'd love to see them at the Royal Rumble. I'd love to see the BWO make a return. I would mark out. But that is a very good thing that could potentially bring the Ascension back into the game, is to do something like that, is to literally go and take out one of the commentators. And I think everybody would celebrate that, because we want a new commentary team. So that'd be great.
Please. Oh, Booker. He was brilliant when Sting came out. They've obviously been calling him the Vigilante since day one. And he just went, franchise! I was like, oh no, you're going to get told off for that, Booker. He's not the franchise here.
Did he really say that?
He went, franchise! And Michael Cole was like, Booker, it's the Vigilante. Just in case you didn't catch that, it's the Vigilante.
Well, it's not the first time Booker said something that he's not supposed to, so...
I did see WWE Network just randomly popped into my head. I did watch the Booker T, Stone Cold Steve Austin supermarket fight.
I knew he was going to say that. That's brilliant, that is.
I still love that when Austin puts a call over the tannoy, jackass and aisle free.
That is brilliant. I love that. That's one of the best segments.
Well, it's on the network, so there you go.
Check it. Do you want to cover the other matches?
Yeah, so obviously got the Usos, who kind of secretly took the belts back off the Miz and Mizdow. Is this the split?
Yeah, don't know how it's going to happen, to be honest with you. I mean, could have probably happened before this, but it's probably likely Usos go over and Miz pretty pissed off with Mizdow. I'm loving that Mizdow's getting that push, and I hope it keeps going, because I think a rivalry between the Miz and Mizdow would be awesome.
And just one point, Mizdow copying X-Pac this week. X-Pac was absolutely brilliant on Raw. You got Paige and Natalya versus the Bellas, or otherwise the Total Divas match. Not to annoy anyone, I know obviously Elle, but are you interested in this match?
I would have rather seen the title defense, to be honest.
Well, there you go.
So
this is a Total Divas match, isn't it? This is the only reason it is here.
Yeah, I'll probably say that. I don't know. Probably Bellas will go over.
Well, they have to, really, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, there is a pre-match.
Your favourite match
with your favourite new tag team, the New Day versus I'm going to call them the Job Squad, or the New Job Squad, because it is literally Cesaro, Kid, and Rose. Otherwise known as we don't know what to do with these guys.
I have no comment on this match. I'm not even.
Neither do I. I'm assuming the New Day will win in a fairly mundane match. But and that's the other thing. Are we looking forward to Kofi Kingston obviously vaulting round in the Royal Rumble match? I, for one, have had enough of it now. I've
got a feeling that they will do Kofi Kingston working with the New Day to have the spots this year. So
I think it's a new day. We've it's obviously a brand new We Talk for this year, and I think we covered everything.
I think so. Have you've got anything else to add?
No, other than the fact I am looking forward to the Rumble. I am going to watch as many of the Rumble matches, the old ones, before the event itself. You're actually you're staying up for it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be tweeting throughout. So, yeah, guys, if you give me a follow on Twitter at Delzinski, then we can have a bit of a chat and we can share our views and opinions of the Royal Rumble. It's always good to be up and live tweeting during the Rumble or during any WWE event because you get that interaction. So, guys, yeah, definitely let me know your views and points on Twitter when the Rumble's on. I'll be watching it on the WWE Network, so I certainly hope that the WWE have ramped up that network because, oh boy, that could be a disaster, couldn't it, if it don't work properly?
Yeah. I don't even want to think about it.
I have not bought the pay-per-view on Sky, so I am depending on the network on working.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So, guys, yeah, like I say, we are back. And, yeah, it's going to be bigger and better than ever, we talk, as we move forward. Lots of surprises, lots of changes coming. And we now have a new day.
New day?
We have a new day.
New day?
That's enough. All right. And we are back from Saturdays now, 2 p.m. in the UK. And we will be uploading
except next week.
Oh, yeah, except next week. We will be uploading every weekend now. So, guys, you can check my YouTube channel, and there might be something else coming very, very soon, but that will be revealed in the weeks to come. So, guys, all that's left to be said from me is, yeah, enjoy the Royal Rumble and get involved via the comments box below. And Weeds, you got anything left to say?
No, just to resonate what you said, enjoy the Royal Rumble. Let us know what you think via the comments box. Any talking points you want us to cover next week. And until next Saturday at 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, we will see you then.
Yep, see you later.